Welcome to ISIS in the Bible Fall Gathering, week number 5. Sea Urchin G. Searching. What are we searching for? The question today is, what does spirit having a human experience mean to you? It's a beautiful and invigorating knowing that this statement is truth. Can you give examples of being less human? What acts can we change so that we are more spiritual? It's happening in the stars, so it's kind of being demanded of us. Went around the room. I'll add the answers when I edit the video, but it was an awesome discussion. We actually kept going, so beautiful. So what's happening in the sky? Can you be less human? I've had several people reach out to further the definition of what stepping on the snake means and the significance of a November 27th and beyond. People had to step on their snake, and the process required forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, gratitude and loving images, and they had immediate results. But the wave that hits them right after that, that wave could have been different had they chosen not to do that forgiveness process. Because when the water's clear, when that energy comes, it's not going to be as rough, so to speak. They all had to genuinely change their whole thought process and be immersed in love in every aspect of their days. We all have to be. That's the part of being less human. So when you said, just live by your heart, that's the simplest answer. All answers are fantastic and correct, but that's an easy one we can teach the kids. So today, November 22nd, is Samhain, All Souls, All Saints, Halloween. That's right. By pure definition, it's today. The sun is opposite the Pleiades, okay, which is Alcyone. And that's the story that we covered the other day, and how we get all the beautiful things that happen in the sky. Around the world, Samhain astrological events brings shooting stars across the sky. And for those of you who are new, Mother Mary, Genesis 3:15, November 27th, Mary steps on the snake. So that even this event. So I had AI make me up. I saw something that I'm going to do more research on. The pyramids were pointing to the Pleiades. So that's an interesting concept. And then we still have Mars, the Sun, and Ceres in Scorpio. And Scorpio is a snake. Scorpio is the stinger. Scorpio has above it Ophiuchus, the Ouroboros, separating the snake from eating its tail. So all this playing into fact is all part of what we're feeling. So here is a little video of that's happened so far in the sky. You want to watch it real quick? Pretty cool, eh? The ancients, that Samhain, they believed that that's the trading of souls, the trading of stars. We used to call those shooting stars, right? Are they meteorites? Are they volcanic hail? But either way, when that light burns, is somebody leaving the visible is the question. The ancients said yes. So that's a pretty cool thought, isn't it? So it's interesting that this all aligns with thanksgiving, giving thanks. But remember, thanks is not about what you eat, which is something we need to change for becoming more spiritual. It's only one portion of the 5-step process to becoming sovereign. So just giving gratitude is not becoming sovereign. It is a step. It is being more spiritual and less human. But we can do more than that by doing it all with the love in the heart, right? We also have something that I'd like to mention. On the 29th, after the 27th, we have a beautiful alignment happening. Venus is now with the tail of the snake, which is basically right across from Eris, stepping on the snake 2 days later. So she's still stepping on the snake. And Venus is Mother Nature, all beings. She's the Ankh, the circle of life dying on the cross. That's why they're the anima. They're soul guides. So it's an important message. There's going to be a lot of animal encounters. Depends on people's charts, but it's going to be really cool to see. And also on that day, the moon aligns with Vesta of the Vestal Virgins in Gemini, which is in retrograde. This type of feeling for people will be, I need to be a leader about teaching people how to be more pure. Watching these things happen in people's charts, it's really amazing. It really, really is. People with strong Vesta in their chart, lots of strong Vesta, they are either nuns, priests, or wanted to be, or should have been. So we need to separate that snake from eating its tail. Okay, Isis in the Bible, gang. This one's from Christopher. Have a look at this beautiful reflection, right? The mirror. It's just beautiful when you look at it, isn't it? Look at the metaphysical reflection of as above, so below. But remember, it's an illusion of duality. We are tethered to love, the infinite light. You can't see light, you only see illumination. But here's a kicker. What this one said was, flip it upside down and have a look. How cool is that? It's like it's immersed in water, which the air is water. So how's that for a reflection? How's that for feeling a little more spiritual? Thanks, Christopher. That was really, really awesome. Our buddy Jeffrey couldn't make it today, but he called me out on a post saying, "This is very interesting, Claudio. Can you shed some light on this?" So I said, okay, let me give it a go with what I've been learning, or what we've been learning. You see, the masculine has the head of Horus. Okay, so there's a man. He has the head of Horus. And Horus is the all-seeing eye. You see things before they happen. You know they're going to happen. So you can see the past and the future. This man, you are sovereign, as you've achieved the Orion status. And how does it know it's the Orion status? Because you carry the crook and the flail, the self-harvesting tools. The crook and the flail are also the Urim and the Thummim, as well as the Waz stick. This is the Bennu bird. It represents the great blue heron and Phoenix rising. And that's where we talk about, when you part your own waters, Moses. because you're able to use your images and you're able to use that pure love to make all this happen. Right? He's also carrying the Ankh. We're going to talk a little bit about the Ankh. Hope we can see the synchronicity in this. So that's what that I see there. Now you are your own field, represented by the two heads, fertilizer, the earth, your past actions, what you've left behind, right? You are fertilizing the earth. That's what this represents, your past lives. And you're creating that beautiful field around you, and you're the owner of that world. One is the papyrus reed, which measures all the actions, and the other is the lotus, that of rebirth from the waters. The woman, she has an egg in her nest. You see that? Right. It's on her head. She's engaging in immaculate conception with a sovereign being. She wants her child to be born with only good karma. But this comes from a law of attraction anyway. This just doesn't happen. You can't go out and find one if you haven't cleared yours. So she's cleared hers. So this sovereign being will oblige, and the child will only have good karma. And she knows this. The solar disc on his head, that's the masculine, the light that's going to go and sending good karmic waves to this egg and to her. This is the true form of Tantra without the physical act. This is what they're displaying here on the Egyptian walls. The two eyes of Horus in the solar disc, with the Ankhs, the understanding of lives, birth, death, and the control of the snake, and the two all-seeing eyes in the solar disc here. I mean, I can't go through every one of these yet, but I'll be able to. I mean, this is the qubit, so it's going to have to do with time when he's coming on the wheel, and so do these also mean time. So the rest of the items, these are her. That's why he's got nothing around him, and she's got all kinds of things here, right? Some of her strengths. This makes up her natal chart, and so does this, of where that her and where that child's going to come out. So that's what I see. And thanks also to Chris for sharing that. What are we searching for? This is a perfect example of this. So we see these things popping up. This is a recent drought exposed the dolmen of Guadalajara. So what are we searching for? Well, we know, right? When the mother love ship comes home, they've done all these things. They point to the east. They're doing these so they can measure when mama's coming home, and when we have this phoenix rising. When do we escalate our consciousness so everybody can be at peace around the world in love? That's what we're searching for. We don't have to spend hours figuring this out. We've already know she's back. She gives other signs, but this is us leaving these beautiful monuments behind because we love our kids and our grandkids and we want them to know. So we leave them behind. So this is a Spanish Stonehenge. It's got 150 granite stones, an oval chamber about 5 meters in diameter, and carved upon it a stone called the Menhir. And this is points of coincidence between the map of Menhir and the Tagus River as it passes through the area. So that's on one of the stones. We could go and explore all this and get more proof, but the more proof is going to be of what? Learning right now that we're on this cycle and that we're infinite and that we're spirits having a human experience, but it's time to be less human. That's right here where this little rectangle is. That's where this spot is. One of the reasons I really like to share it with today is because it's also in line with Iceland. I will talk about that in a minute, but they're going through a little bit of unrest there with Mother Nature. And then the Eye of Sahara, all along this line, which separates Leo and Cancer, which we know on the Egyptian walls, on the Dendera, Cancer moves in a little bit. So it's like a separation point. So if there's going to be the Earth splitting there, which it splits in a bunch of spots, including over at the California coastline, we may see some things, and we're showing some symptoms now. But again, what are we searching for? So you all heard of the Iceland capital city of Reykjavik that evacuated a small town last week? Recent seismic activity in Reykjavik has been marked by significant developments, including heightened earthquake activity and warnings of potential volcanic eruptions. There has been an increase in seismic activity near Iceland's Fagradalsfjall volcano, indicating an impending eruption. Icelandic authorities evacuated the southwestern town of Grindavik, located about an hour's drive from the area of concern. So this is where the volcano sits, right here in Iceland. Despite the decrease in size and intensity of seismic activity, because it started slowing down, they're saying it still remains significant that it could erupt. So on November the 27th, when Mary steps on the snake, for the town of Reykjavik, Neptune rises at this beautiful, right at the exact time that Mary steps on the snake. So there's a potential for an energy to hit there when Mama steps on the snake. And because we've been doing some research on volcanic eruptions, I know that the part of fortune seems to want to be involved in the Imam Coeli, where things like to get birthed. And exactly at this time, this alignment happens for this location. So we'll see, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, we've got 30, 40 volcanoes erupting currently. So it's just another one. It's possible. Is it going to be something significant? Don't know, but I know it's related to our blood. Our volcanic eruptions on the earth are related to our heart. Right? Just like Michael Gregory said, it's simple, live by your heart. So the more and more we're loving, the more and more the volcano will only burp. That's the way it should be, and that's the way it is. So you can see right here, that's how close the town that was evacuated is close to that volcano. Because we're doing research, right? In 1465, which is 558 years ago, they had a major volcanic eruption. It was catastrophic. The eruption led to the disappearance of the Kauai landmass. Okay, the Kauai landmass is out here, 16 south, under 68, right in line with where Mother Mary rises in the east. It caused significant changes in weather patterns across Europe for the following decade, turned the sky a dark dust-colored blue, indicating a massive release of volcanic ash and gases. The Kauai caldera is located between two islands, which were once part of a larger island. The eruption resulted in the formation of a roughly 12 by 6 kilometer depression. So we've seen before from previous presentations that the last Phoenix rising, stepping on the snake, there was a significant eruption. Hopefully our hearts are pure and there'll be only a burp, like I said. Remember, the blood of the earth mirrors our heart. So why am I showing you this? Well, I want our hearts to be pure and loving. But at the same time, if we do see this, remember just to observe, because this is going to help us all get back to one love, because we all help each other. And a bunch of systems, fall of Babylon continues on, which we know is happening. Okay, shifting gears a little bit. It's time for Is Astrology Woo-Woo? Medical astrology. Today we'll be talking about singer Dolores O'Riordan of the alternative rock band The Cranberries, and how her leaving the visible was a message to us all. She had Chiron the Wounded Healer very strong in her chart, and we'll show you that. So I was listening to one of her favorite songs titled Zombie, and the lyrics spoke to me and said, do my chart. So I'll just play this little short clip of, and the lyrics are right here, of that song. I was invigorated by it, and she's telling me go do my chart. So I looked her up, and she disclosed that she took on the label of bipolar. So she sang this song about telling people a lot of things are in our heads. We're the zombies, that it's all in your head, where a lot of things, political and whatever else is going on around the world. What she didn't realize is that she fell victim to her own words. Dolores O'Riordan publicly disclosed her diagnosis of bipolar disorder in May of 2017. So I looked it up, and you can see Ceres and Saturn. Ceres and Saturn play a huge role in these types of labels. If you're learning medical astrology, write this one down. They're just waves, people. Tell people it's just a wave. It'll go away. It's in your chart. Right? That's why we bring these up. That's why we do these. This is why she had Chiron, the Wounded Healer, tied in with Mary. Mary stepping on the snake. She told me, go do my chart. And here she has Chiron the Wounded Healer. Chiron the Wounded Healer brings out, I need to tell people. I need people to know the truth, and it'll get out somehow. And so her song reached out to me. We did her chart, and look at what beauty she has in her chart. But she didn't remember, she didn't know herself. But we are beacons of our own light, and we're going to help each other. So she took one for the team. All right, a lot going on in May with her. Look at her wings were affected. Chiron, the Wounded Healer, right on the IC. Pluto, the moon, Juno. She was feeling some energies, man. She was really feeling energies. So I looked also, when did she, look at some different events, and then she had to cancel the remainder of her Australian leg of their 117-day tour when she injured her knee during a concert. So okay, let's just go look it up. I mean, there's Capricorn, right? There's the knee, the North Node, Mars, right? Much going on. On that day, the moon on her natal moon with Saturn, which affects her Ceres. Look at the cleansing Hygeia on the South Node, all here with Mary in her third house in Pisces. It took her knee out. She needed to do some self-work. When we're taken out like that, it's a message. We can name it whatever we want, give it whatever label we want, but there's a message there. When you're injured in jury, you're in your own jury. So you got to just take a time out, work on yourself. Work on yourself. Capricorn usually means 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the land. We've got to make sure that we have that helping hand out there for those on the land, even though we want to sometimes jump in and run away, right, Susan? And run away and just be spirit. Yeah, but we can't, because we're one, and that wouldn't work. So because of those labels we wear great misunderstandings. It's in our chart. So we only got to do this to help people to be brave and understand the waves they're upon. We are infinite, but we need to work on our next lives. So I wanted to share this with you because I know she told me to do it. Dolores passed away on January 15th, 2018. She was found dead in the bathtub at her hotel in London. Her death was ruled as accidental, resulted from drowning due to alcohol intoxication. Well, look at here. Ceres, the harvester, aligned with the North Node on the South Node when she left the visible. And remember, she's got Chiron, the Wounded Healer. She's taking one for the team. That's why, and look what's going on here. So South Node, North Node, on her Mars, Juno, Hygeia. It's all there. The Black Moon was aligned with Mercury. She's got Black Moon with Uranus. I'm showing all these just for those people that do medical astrology that want to see what's here. So, and these are some of the transits that went on, which is pretty wild. So she left the visible because it was in her chart. Look at AI, beautiful image from AI. So when you realize that the Grim Reaper is you see, I had the AI create this, but I put the image of this man in there because you are your own Grim Reaper. You leave when your chart says you leave, but you control your chart. You can tell Sarah to take a hike because you're loving. Because it's not Sarah's, it's just you. It's your own vibrations. So you are the goddess, you are the gods. You create your own world as a human, but know that we are tethered to love, and it's time to go back to spirit. A little bit at a time, a little bit less human. But when you see a feather, stick it in your cap. Angelica, stick it in your cap. It's a sign you're on the right path. Maybe you can tell an American this. This is why a chief wears many feathers in their hat. Because their heart is as light as a feather. Because when your heart is as light as a feather, when you go on that path, you're going to see perfect feathers. And to get all those feathers all at once, Angelica, that's a pretty beautiful sign. This article is shared by Sister Luann, how story of Jesus in the Bible was copied from ancient Kemet. Because it's very related and very synchronistic to what we're going to talk about next. It suggests that many aspects of the Christian narrative, including the character of Jesus, were derived from earlier Kemet myths, Egypt, and spiritual practicings, particularly those related to the worship of the sun, the S-U-N, the S-O-N, Jesus, you, the goddess, the God. The article presents a perspective that challenges traditional views of the origins of Christianity, suggesting that much of its narrative and teachings were not unique. but rather borrowed from earlier spiritual traditions. This is truth. Obviously, this topic is subject to ongoing debate and research, but that's why we're doing this gathering, because there's nothing more to debate, because the truth is here. We know that the Bible is from the Egyptian walls. Okay, so we promise you that we will show you proof that the oldest known Bible, the Tanakh, or the Ankh, was texts and interpretations off the Egyptian walls. The Hebrew Bible, the Tanakh, the oldest part of the Hebrew Bible, are believed to date back to the 12th century BCE and much later. It was compiled over a long period of time. It's important because it went through 10 centuries. The Bible is written over 10 centuries. How could that be, right? So it consists of 3 parts: the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketuvim. Today we'll focus only on the book of Genesis and how it was literally an attempt to transcribe, decipher what's on the Egyptian walls. Is it a coincidence that the Tanakh carries the word Ankh? Right? Look at that. The Tanakh and the Ankh. This all been taken off the Egyptian walls. The Ankh is a symbol of Venus, and it's a symbol of Eris, who's no longer on the cross because she's pure love. And we used to wear this chain and cross around our neck, which is a symbol of the Ankh. So here we go. The book of Genesis comes from the Temple of Seti. Here is proof for you to ponder upon. Genesis comes from the Greek word genesis, meaning origin, source, or beginning, which is central to the book of Genesis. The book of Genesis contains extensive genealogical records and the theme of origins and beginnings. It contains the creations of the world, the early stories of humanity, and the foundations of the nation of Israel. Israel, Isis, Ra, and Father Time. That's mother, you, and time. That's what Israel means. Okay, it's off the Egyptian walls. So these extensive genealogy lists are extensive in Genesis 5 and 10. I hated reading those when I was a kid because there's so many names. And 1 and 2 Chronicles are placed immediately after the book of Kings. So the book of Kings is the end of the Tanakh, end of the original Bible, and it goes back to Genesis. So that's important. The book of Kings, think about that, genealogy. So this on the wall in the Temple of Seti, this is a beautiful rendition done by Natalie Watson. Here in the Seti Temple, you see the King's Gallery. It's a list of all the kings. That's the genealogy. That's the list of all the names in Genesis and Chronicles. As we leave and do the Samhain thing and come back, you can see here Horus, which is the sun, then the queen, Isis, then the male, and then going so forth. And these are going to be some of the names that are in the Bible. We're going to do that research another time. So it's profound that the original Hebrew Bible begins and ends with the extensive genealogies, creating a literary frame that spans the very beginning of human history to the period of return from exile. Exile meaning raising our Christ consciousness, a revelation of whom we really are not, the spirit who must let go of the materialistic snake. On the walls is what's called a cartouche. So all over those walls, there's a whole bunch of these cartouches, which they label as kings. Now, this is the genealogy. This is what they transcribed off of the Seti, the first temple, and created the book of Genesis. See the cartouche, okay? You can see a rope, a circle with images inside. Well, that's the Shen. This is the story of reincarnation. The Shen is the Alpha and the One. The Shen is roped. And when somebody's born, when it attaches to a body, they increase it out and show the qualities that's in each one. So the cartouche is showing you that Genesis comes from the Egyptian walls. It comes from Seti, the first temple. The Bible is, bar none, off of the Egyptian walls. We can get into so much more detail, we won't. And I know we're running out of time. And from Rev Cat, thanks, Ed Adamberry. He's got a beautiful song. We'll play that on our way out. And that's all we have for today.